Hello everyone, welcome to a Wildcard Wednesday video, and this is the moment that many of you have been waiting for. Here it is, or at least here is the work in progress of my Davros in 18 inches figure. Give you a quick figure breakdown. This, bottom of an 18-inch Dalek, obviously. Control panel, everything, that's all custom built. Body is actually from an 18-inch Luke Skywalker figure, and the head is actually from a Darth Maul figure. Now he's not attached at the moment, so I'll put him to one side and I'll come back to him. Okay, so going over the body, if you've seen my 18-inch Dalek collection, you'll know that I've got quite a few 18-inch Daleks. One of which I had is a gold and black Supreme Custom. Now this is different to the gold and red one seen in the Witch's Familiar. Don't worry, I haven't taken that one apart. Because that one is actually one of my working ones. However, I did manage to get a spare one. Unfortunately, the battery compartment, somebody left a D-cell battery in it and it was all corroded. The electronics in it were all damp. I tried everything I could to get it fixed and nothing worked. So I repainted it gold and black to resemble the Planet of the Daleks Supreme Council Dalek. And it was a nice piece to have, it was a nice display piece. It was just a shame that I could never get it working. So when Davros came back in the Witch's Familiar, in the Magician's Apprentice and then the Witch's Familiar, being my favourite Doctor Who villain, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we had him at some point in an 18-inch figure? Because we had him, we had the 5-inch figure, both classic and new series, but the new series specifically we had him in the 5-inch normal and remote control, and then we also got him in a 12-inch remote control figure. So, it would have been great if he'd been realised in the 18-inch range to go with the Supreme Dalek. Hang on a moment, if I just bring it down, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Some of you might already know, but just for clarification. You won't fit all the way on screen, obviously, but that's the Dalek in question that I'm talking about. As I said, this is my fully working one. I haven't taken this one apart. Like I said, this is basically, these are essentially the same, but this has been repainted and made from the spare base of that, from a different one that never worked. So don't worry, I haven't cannibalised the working one. I wouldn't do that. It's worth too much. So basically, I looked at it thinking, well, I've got that one spare. Ideally, I would have liked to have bought another one, but even intact, I mean, that spare Supreme that this is made from, I got that for about £20 because I don't think they knew what they were selling. But even an intact, non-working one can set you back up to £70. They're very, very expensive now. So I was looking at it thinking, well, actually, hang on. I'd already painted this one black, and I thought if I just paint the globe silver, I could have a Davros chair. I mean, it doesn't work. I'm never going to get it working. And then I just have to build the top of it myself. So that's what I did. So, to move on then to his control panel. I do need to support this because that's not really weight bearing. This is all made from the same kind of same hard backing board that I make my larger scale customs from. Just just bits and pieces here and there everywhere that I could find going through a small box of stuff. Just seemed to go together. Obviously, it doesn't match up to his new series control panel completely, but it still looks effective. It's still got the shape. It's still got the overall look. Obviously, I still need to add on the back brace. That's going to be my next step that I've got to do. None of the switches do anything. Obviously, they are all fixed in place. There's no lights or anything like that. It would have been nice to add lights, but for me to be able to add lights, I would have needed to make up some other rudimentary system that would have been essentially fixed onto the button on the front, but that would have taken a lot of wiring, and I'm not really an electronic engineer, or alternatively to have to again try and rewire the whole thing. It just wasn't viable to me. I didn't have the parts to do it, so I'm happy with it not being electronic. It still looks the part. So moving on from the chair to Davros himself. So Davros himself is actually made, as I said, I'll bring him a bit closer to the camera so you can see him. Overall body is, well, in fact, actually both of them are made, the head and the body are from 18-inch Star Wars figures that I managed to get in a local nationwide shop. I don't want to place name, but let's say it's also a small popular holiday island destination in Greece. That should be enough to give you some ideas. Anyway, so yes, overall body is an 18-inch Luke Skywalker figure. I had to remodel the arm because it was sitting out too far and it wouldn't have sat flush against the body as I wanted it to. And also I've had to make up an arm joint because in the figures, as you can see, he doesn't, this is what the arm used to look like on the other side, he doesn't actually have any elbow joints in his figures, so I had to make one up myself. Hand is just basically the standard hand that came with the figure, and then I've just added some plasticard and bits of backing board on there to make it look a bit more claw-like. Head brace, or head in general, as I said, is a Darth Maul figure. I'll come onto the front in a moment. Head brace, I actually just finished this last night. Again, just simple plasticard and a high quality, or you know, backing board. Now, the face, obviously, as I said, this was made from a Darth Maul figure. This isn't my first sculpting attempt. I have tried sculpting in future, but I'm afraid my talents haven't got any better. So basically this sculpt is actually made using, again, I don't want to product place, it is using a particular type of modelling material that, if you're familiar, and in fact this gives me an excuse to say this, I want to give a big shout out to another customizer, Tom Fan. Now some of you may be aware of him. He does phenomenal stuff, phenomenal customs. They're absolutely amazing. They really are to just a hugely professional level. Why character options or anyone hasn't snapped him up yet to do some model making for them, I don't know. But he uses the same kind of stuff. He actually gave me tips on how to do this. Obviously this is nowhere near to his standard, but if you know the material that he uses for his sculpting, that's what I've used here. And it's actually worked out alright. I'm not, you know, it could be better, but at the same time, I'm really pleased with how it comes out, and it's actually given him a slightly more grizzled look, the fact that it's quite rough and ready. And you know, I really want to say, you know, a big shout out, big thank you to Tom Fan for all of the help and advice he gave me on using this stuff. But as I said, you know, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect sculpt. But if you look at that, you would think, oh, it's Davros. You know, you wouldn't think, oh, it's a bad sculpt unless, you know, I think you got up really close to it. His eye is actually made from a classic 5-inch Dalek sphere, hemisphere, whatever you want to call them. I just cut it off, stuck it on with a bit of glue, and then put the I'm trying to think of a word that's not going to give out the name of it. The sculpting material around it. Obviously his arm does still move up and down, but because of where he sits in his control panel, it's quite brittle. Now, if I put him back in his control panel, and I have to adjust his arm again. Okay, now, from the front, I think it looks alright, but if I move it to the side, you can see that, whoa! And there he goes. Well, these are recorded live, these things happen. Everything's fine. Bit of Dalek damage, but I can fix that. Anyway, as I was saying, if I bring him off to the side, you can see that he doesn't really sit as full forward in his chair as he should. You know, if you look at Davros in the Stolen Earth, the David Tennant's Series 4 finale and the Series 9 opener, you can see that he fills his chair a lot more. Now, the reason that he doesn't fill his chair, and I have to say, in my opinion, actually, it looks like he's more got a bit of a classic thing going on in terms of body and look. Now, the reason that he doesn't look as big is because these are 18-inch Daleks. The Star Wars figures that I found are also 18-inch. But it turns out that they are a different 18-inch between them. So the Star Wars figures aren't actually in scale with these, despite being labelled as 18-inch. I'm not quite sure how that happened. As I said, I don't know scales. I literally just saw 18-inch figure. I thought, brilliant, it'll be in scale with an 18-inch Dalek. In hindsight, I should have realised that's not the case. But anyway, that's the reason why he does look a little bit small in his chair. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. I mean, if I bring in a spare 12-inch figure head I have here, you can see how big it is compared to the 12-inch. You know, it does, when you take it away, to me, it does look like you would think, oh, if he's smaller than the 18-inch, he can't be 18-inch, he must be nearer to 12-inch. But he's not, he's much, much bigger than that. So, you know, as I said, it's not into perfect scale, but it's, you know, it's good enough for me, and I'm quite happy with it. Obviously, as I said, the next step is going to be to add some of the detailing on his jacket and also the back brace. And then once that's done, I can stick him down, put him together, and overall he'll be finished. I just wanted to give you all this quick work in progress video because I thought it might get a few views. So, I will be doing a full custom showcase once he's finished. For now though, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favourite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. And I shall see you all with another video very soon.